Aloha everybody, this is Kaonohiokai for Zoology 141 class study guide. My topic today will be the embryonic development of the brain and spinal cord. So let's get right into it. In a 3-week-old embryo, the ectoderm will thicken along the dorsal midline axis of the embryo to form the neural plate. The neural plate then invaginates, forming a groove flanked by neural folds. As this neural groove deepens, the superior edges of the neural folds fuse, forming the neural tube, which soon detaches from the surface ectoderm and sinks to a deeper position. The neural tube, formed by the 4th week of pregnancy, differentiates rapidly into the CNS. The brain forms anteriorly, and the spinal cord develops from the caudal or posterior region of the neural tube. Small groups of neural fold cells migrate laterally from between the surface ectoderm and the neural tube, forming the neural crest. Neural crest cells give rise to some neurons destined to reside in ganglia. As soon as the neural tube forms, its anterior end begins to expand, and constrictions appear that mark off the 3 primary brain vesicles. These are the prosencephalon, or the forebrain, the mesencephalon, the midbrain, and the rhombencephalon, also known as the hindbrain. The remainder of the neural tube becomes the spinal cord. In week 5, the primary vesicles give rise to the secondary brain vesicles. The forebrain divides into the telencephalon and the diencephalon, and the hindbrain constricts, forming the metencephalon and the myelencephalon. The midbrain remains undivided. Each of the 5 secondary vesicles then develops rapidly to produce the major structures of the adult brain, which can be seen in this figure. The greatest change occurs in the telencephalon, which sprouts 2 lateral swellings that look like Mickey Mouse ears. These become the 2 cerebral hemispheres, referred to collectively as the cerebrum. The diencephalon part of the forebrain specializes to form the hypothalamus, thalamus, epithalamus, and retina of the eye. Less dramatic changes occur in the mesencephalon, metencephalon, and myelencephalon, as these regions are transformed into the midbrain, pons, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata, respectively. All these midbrain and hindbrain structures, except the cerebellum, form the brain stem. The central cavity of the neural tube remains continuous and enlarges in 4 areas to form the fluid-filled ventricles of the brain. Because the brain grows more rapidly than the membranous skull that contains it, 2 major flexures develop, the midbrain and cervical flexures, which move the forebrain toward the brainstem. A second consequence of restricted space is that the cerebral hemispheres are forced to take a horseshoe-shaped course and grow posteriorly and laterally. As a result, they grow back over and almost completely envelop diencephalon and midbrain. By week 26, the continued growth of the cerebral hemispheres causes their surfaces to crease and fold, producing convolutions and increasing their surface area, which allows more neurons to occupy the limited space. As previously mentioned, the spinal cord develops from the caudal portion of the embryonic neural tube. By the 6th week, each side of the developing cord has 2 recognizable clusters of neuroblasts that have migrated outward from the original neural tube, a dorsal alar plate and a ventral basal plate. Alar plates neuroblasts become interneurons. The basal plate neuroblasts develop into motor neurons and sprout axons that grow out of the effector organs. Axons that emerge from alar plate cells and some basal plate cells form the white matter of the cord by growing along the length of the cord. As development progresses, these plates expand dorsally and ventrally to produce the H-shaped central mass of gray matter of the adult spinal cord. Neural crest cells that come to lie alongside the cord form the dorsal root ganglia containing sensory neuron cell bodies. These sensory neurons send their axons into the dorsal aspect of the cord. That concludes our review on the embryonic development of the brain and spinal cord. Mahalo.